Hello everyone. I just wanted to start this one off with full wholeheartedly saying fuck Nazis, okay? And I'm not talking about the more modern liberal sense of the word that we use, of everything that we don't like somehow becomes a Nazi, and if you have any objection to anything, you're automatically a Nazi. No, I'm talking about these pieces of shit that we will look at in this fucking video. I genuinely cannot stand you. I think you are fucking disgusting. Actual, genuine fucking Nazis. It's insane that your kind still exist. I'm being fully serious here. I know the content that I've made, some people have already said I'm some type of fascist or Nazi before, but no. These motherfuckers, God, absolute awful fucking human beings. And I cannot believe in 2023 we actually have legitimate neo-Nazis protesting openly in the fucking streets. That's absolutely insane to me. But I suppose let's go ahead and just jump into this, shall we?
This Nazi stuff, it's like it started off as one little itchy spot in Ohio, but now it's clear it's not a bug bite, it's a rash. And it's oozing and spreading all over. It's disgusting.
Look, I get the point that you're trying to make here. You're trying to, show something that is gross, disgusting, like you say, and, compare that to the now apparent Nazi problem we have in Ohio. But still, fucking weird, gross. Don't do that. Just don't do that. You could have just as well just said neo-Nazis are fucking disgusting and they're spreading. You don't really need to add some fancy fucking comparison to this, right? You could just outright say Nazis bad, spreading bad. Jesus Christ.
But it really doesn't help to pretend that you can't see it, Ohio. And it's not like it's hard to follow the plot here about what these guys are doing. In each of these instances, these Nazi groups are turning out in Ohio, and the purported motive behind the attempted arson at the Ohio church, it's all for the same reason.
Good God, just look at these absolute fucking pieces of shit. Honestly, how did you wake up today, or whenever this took place, and be like, we're going to put on these outfits, these, for one, just fucking horrible looking fucking outfits. You look like some fucking cartoonish evil character. You look like generic minions from some fucking over-the-top bad guy. You look like you deserve to be in the DC universe somewhere. It's just fucking stupid. But not only that, you decide that you're going to wake up, put on all this stuff, and then go out and protest. Protest not something actually relevant. You're not going to protest a recent increase in taxes or some police mistreatment of somebody. No, you're coming out to protest to be a fucking Nazi. That is just... It actually blows my mind that, you and your kind still fucking exist. How is... And it's not even like there's a small number of you. This is a pretty decent fucking crowd for what I would have assumed would be, a handful of fucking extremists. Let alone, I know that there's probably way more extremists, just in that area of Ohio, there's probably way more extremists that share their political views, but I figure there'd be very, very, very little of people who would actually, dress up and go out and do this in person. Because it's one thing to say your fucking wild opinions online, it's another to then go outside and, show people face to face your beliefs when they're as absolutely atrocious as this. This is fucking insane to me.
To harass and intimidate trans people and queer people. This thing this weekend with the guys in the red pajama suits and the swastika flag and the guy dressed up like Heat Miser, that was outside a drag...
My fucking God, they're actually doing the fucking Nazi Third Reich fucking salute. Oh my... This is just another level of fucking insanity. These guys are just straight up real fucking Nazis, and they're absolutely not ashamed of it in the slightest. What kind of fucking world do we live in where people like this can just be in public showing off their fucking views and just feel good about it and not be absolutely fucking embarrassed and not just be booed out of the streets? Like, how is it that these guys feel comfortable enough to do things like this?
Brunch that was being held at a local Columbus, Ohio business. A drag brunch that was to benefit a nonprofit called Kaleidoscope Youth Center. The Nazis showed up outside that this weekend. When it was the Wadsworth, Ohio Nazi show of force a few weeks ago, that was also outside a drag performance. Also, the church arson just outside Cleveland that was targeting a church holding family-friendly drag events. See, it's all one idea because the Nazis in America are Nazis in America these days. They have their cause.
Well, at least for once we get a rare sight to behold where a news reporter has actually admitted that they, us as a people really, overused the word Nazi for so fucking long. Let's be realistic here. We've been using Nazi to describe literally any form of quote unquote racism or use it to throw at anybody who we don't like, right? Anytime we've ever disagreed with somebody on a political level, Nazi usually gets thrown out there by one side or another pretty fucking quickly. But now we have real fucking Nazis in America. Isn't that fucking wild to you?
And they're doing this stuff in part for the same reason they're doing it in Florida all the time now and in other states. First, it's to try to intimidate and freak people out, but it's also to try to desensitize us to swastikas and Nazi imagery of all kinds and the presence of Nazis on our street corners and at our public protests. It's so we expect it, I guess. So we're maybe not so shocked by it as much as we might otherwise be.
First off, let me tell you something. Yeah, I might at some point, if there's neo-Nazi protests in the fucking streets every day, yeah, I might not be as shocked anymore, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna be any less fucking disgusted. If anything, I would just become more and more disgusted the more common it would become. Yes, there is a way that I can see your point of just becoming desensitized to it, that you just see it so often that you're just like, yeah, this is just how life is. But at no point will it stop being absolutely fucking atrocious to me. It will never stop being absolutely fucking disgusting to see these tools in the fucking streets. Ever.
If you're not down with that, though, if you are not excited by the little Nazis blooming like stinkweed everywhere these days, it might give you some pause, right? If you realize that the reason these Nazis keep turning out, the reason these Nazis are out there in the streets and on the street corners and in these public parks, the reason they keep doing this stuff is that they're cheering on what you've been doing in your day job. That might give you pause, right? If you started to notice what all these Nazis were doing and realized that what they were doing was pulling for your side.
Oh god, no, please. You were doing so fucking well. You were doing so fucking well with this story so far. Just continue saying Nazis are fucking awful, horrendous fucking people and just be done with it. Do not, I beg you, do not start fucking saying the Republicans are encouraging Nazis. Do not start trying to fucking make this a fucking political issue of right versus left. You are just, if you do that, you are literally part of the fucking problem, just so you're aware. It should be really fucking reasonable and really fucking easy for both sides, regardless of Republican or Democrat, to come together and condemn these fucking tools. But things like this are going to make it much, much harder. Now, all you've done by doing this is any Republican that was pretty well set on saying, yeah, I agree, fuck Nazis, but you're over here now saying that they're basically encouraging them, that they're basically doing the same thing the Nazis are doing. You're what they're cheering on. All that's going to do is make these people who did condemn it go, wait a minute, maybe these guys aren't that bad. Maybe this is like a leftist fucking psyop or some shit. Now you're gonna make a fucking goddamn conspiracy theory out of fucking nothing. Why can't you just condemn evil when you see evil? Why do you need to assign it to a fucking classification of political party? They already are a political party. They're called Nazis, you fucking idiot.
In Ohio, for example, it might give you pause if you were an Ohio Republican and you've been working on legislation to attack queer people and trans people. While at the same time, repeatedly, these guys are the crowds who are turning out to bolster that message, to make sure that the harassment and intimidation of queer and trans people has not just the imprimatur of state law, but also a Nazi flair. Right? You might think that would give you pause in Ohio to realize who is aligning themselves with your cause.
What an outright disingenuous thing to say. Just because Nazis support something does not inherently make it bad, okay? They are supporting, I believe we're going over 454, the House bill right now, that is very, very, very early on in its making, where it is, again, just like the Florida ban that I covered in an earlier video, it is making it illegal for children, minors, people under 18 years old to have gender affirming surgeries or puberty blockers. It's making it so that minors are not affected by these things. That's it. That's all this bill is doing so far. Just because Nazis agree with that because they hate trans people does not automatically mean that this bill is wrong. And I hate that I have to fucking explain this to you. This is just dirty. You are actually trying to use this is why it's going to become a fucking conspiracy theory that this is a leftist psyop, because you say wild fucking things like this as a fucking reporter. Jesus Christ.
It is not giving Ohio Republicans pause, apparently. Just in the last few days, they have been happy to hold new hearings on their proposed legislation to make the street Nazis very happy by further targeting trans people in Ohio.
This is why I had such a big issue with this fucking article. Well, this video, I mean. This is how you create division. This right here. It's so wild to me that you don't see all you're doing is adding fuel to the fire. Okay? You couldn't just come on TV and say, I denounce Nazis. Fuck Nazis. No, you couldn't just do that. You couldn't just be like, hey, I think collectively we can all agree Nazis are fucking scum. You had to immediately make this a left versus right issue. And it's just fucking not. Honestly, this is insane to me. For once in our absolutely fractured past 20 fucking years of this dual party fucking bullshit political system, can for once we come together and just say, as a fucking team, as an entire country of fucking people, can we just come together and say, fuck Nazis? Actual Nazis just are fucking scum. Can we not even do that? Are we incapable of even just agreeing on something like that without sitting there and trying to pick blame and pick fights? Jesus fuck. It's so fucking wild to me. These are genuine scary problems that we have now. We have Nazis in the fucking streets protesting, and you guys still want to say it's that side's fault. Fuck Nazis and fuck you. And for everyone watching, I hope you enjoyed. I'm genuinely curious to get your guys' feedback in the comments, or of course you are more than welcome to join the Discord that is always in the description below. But I'm genuinely curious to get your guys' input on this, because I don't think this is even a left or a right, a conservative or liberal issue. I think this is an American issue. This is something that I feel we should combine at, but I want to hear from you guys. What is your stance on these neo-Nazis in fucking Ohio, of all places? Let me know in the comments below. And of course, as always, I hope you enjoyed, and like, comment, subscribe, all that good shit. Follow me on Twitter, which will be in the description below, and I will see you in the next one.